Do you enjoy playing the ukulele? Do you enjoy playing as part of a group? Although this year it's going to be most likely to be online, but do you enjoy it? That's the main thing. Hopefully the answer is yes. If so, a lot of groups use one thing, which is a book, whether it be electronic or physical. There are hundreds of songs that are now available to people who are members of ukulele groups. Now, for those that don't know me, my name's Peter Moss, and this is about the 10th in a series where I look at songs that are found in these books and I add a few embellishments to the chords. Sometimes it's a passing chord, sometimes it's a substitute chord. Also, I look at the right hand as well. Now, because this is now the approach to Christmas, I'm going to do a Christmas tune for you, and it's one I really enjoy playing as well. It's called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, if you haven't already found it, in the description of the YouTube video, there is a link where you can download and print a worksheet which I've created just for this video. So if you stick the pause on, print that off, and come back. Oh, by the way, if you can print it in colour, it's going to be easier to read. So hopefully you've got that in front of you now, and there should be two bits of paper. There should be, the first one is going to be the lyrics in black and the chords are in red, and the second page is the same song with the added embellishments. Now, if you look at that second page, don't worry about it. It looks a bit complicated, but we're going to take it chord by chord. You'll notice that there are multicolours in there, and you'll find that those colours repeat themselves. For example, if you look at the first chord, which is C6, which we're going to discuss in a second, you'll notice it's got like a yellow shading on it, and you'll notice that it's there 3 times. And the same goes for a lot of the other chords. So once you've learnt the chord, basically you can use it again and again and again. So without further ado, what we should do is tune your uke up, come back, and we're going to play the typical version, which is the one in black with the red chords. Right, here goes then. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. You'll go down in history. Did you enjoy that? Now we're going to add quite a few embellishments. Take a break there. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. The first chord that is written with this sort of yellow shading is C6. Now let's have a look at this chord. The shape can be used in various places on our ukuleles. You could use that shape in an E minor position. You could use it across the strings there as a B7. Or we can run it up there to the 3rd position. I say 3rd position because that's where my index finger is, on the 3rd fret. And that has the name of C6. Now, just to prove I'm correct, C6 can be played there, or of course your open tune ukulele is the same thing. Now, there's a reason for doing this C6 instead of the C major, okay? So we could go Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. But you know, sometimes when I'm looking for a chord substitute, I want to try and find a chord that has all the melody notes within it, and they're not in there. Some of them are. That one's in. Rudolph. No, it isn't there. The reindeer. So we've got 3 there, okay. But if I do the C6, listen to this. We got Rudolph the rain. The reindeer red-nosed, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You get my idea. So all the melody notes are within that chord of C6. So I think we should play that instead of a regular C. Now, next to all the chord names, you'll see times, and then it'll say a number. Now, the number is the number of strums. And in this particular case, we're going to hold that C6 for 10 strums. Okay, simple as that. So we have got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very... Now, if you add all those up, it adds up to 10. Trust me, it does. Okay, do you want to do it with me then? 1, 2, 3, go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very... Got that? Okay, dead easy. Right, next chord. This is going to need a little bit of work if you've never played a diminished shape before. If you have, fantastic. But let me show you how it's done. So we're going to be doing diminished 2. And remember when I said like with a number, it depends on where my index finger is. So basically my index finger is on the 2nd fret. So therefore I'm going to call this for now diminished 2. Now all you purists out there will be telling me, how can you do that? Because that's not a proper chord name. Well, I agree, it's not. But if I want you to get the shape quickly, which is what we need to do today, I'm going to say diminished 2. If I wanted to go up 1, I'd say diminished 3. If I wanted to go down 1, I'd say diminished 1. So back to diminished 2. If you can't quite see what I'm doing here, have a look on the screen and it'll suggest also the fingers to use. Okay, and it sounds like this, each string. Okay, so that's diminished 2 because it's on the 2nd fret, my index finger. So how does that sound? So we've got from the beginning, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny... Yes, his knee is there with that C. So it's a nice little, what we call passing chord. Then we're going to go to G for 4, like we did in the original version. Nose. Okay, so we've got C6 for 10, we got diminished 2 for 2, and we got G for 4. I'm going to play it for you, and then I'll ask you the second time to play it with me. Here we go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose. All right, do you want to do it with me then? 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose. Right, I want you to perfect that. Okay, take a short break, send as long as you like, and come back when you're ready with the next bit. Take a break. There. Just so I can check that you've not been cheating, we're going to play the first 2 lines together now before we go to line 3. So in the very beginning, 4 in, C6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose. Simple as that. Now what happens next? We're going to convert from a G major to a G7. Simple as that, okay? And it carries on for a further 10 beats. This is so easy to do. Right, so we're going to do then, and if you ever saw it, you would even... Now, notice in blue, now we've got a very awkward sounding chord, G augmented 7th. But believe me, it's not difficult to do. In fact, you're going to keep on the G7 you've been playing for 10 strums, and you're going to add an extra finger. And the finger that's left there is your pinky. It's floating around. So we may as well make use of it. So we're going to go to the 3rd string and the 3rd fret and pop that on there. Okay? And individually, the strings sound like this. If I run from here down here, we've got... Now that sounds quite strange when I do it like that, individual strings, but when we strum it as a chord, it's basically an augmented chord, takes you on a journey somewhere, and it will in a second, okay? I just want to check that you can play that chord. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back to the beginning and play up to and including that G augmented seventh. From the very beginning. Are we ready? Here we go, troops. A 1, 2, 3, go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it. So it's just for 2 beats, and the words are say it, say it. Then it has to resolve somewhere. Now typically G augmented seventh would take you to the chord of C, and yes, we could play a C if we wanted to, but I just want to make it slightly more spicy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is return to a C major seventh instead of a C major. Okay, to get the C major seventh, just take your normal C and run it down to the 2nd fret. So what does that sound like if I went from the beginning with these new chords? Okay, 4 in. Join me if you want. A 1, 2, 3, go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. Isn't that nice? Okay, this time what I'm going to do is just start off with the word Rudolph, and I'm just going to play the chords so you can hear definitely how the uke is actually sounding. Okay, so 4 in, I'll just say Rudolph. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so it's quite critical that you've got those chords right and also the timing right. So remember, after each of the chords which I'm suggesting, I've got times and a number by it, and that is the number of strums that you're doing on each of them. So take a short break there while you perfect that, and then we'll get into verse 2, which is more or less the same. Take a break. There. Okay, so you join me on verse 2, and as I said previously, that the chords are very similar here. 1 or 2 changes, but it starts the same with all of the other reindeer. So we have this. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. Then a G7 again, but this time only for 8. They never let poor Rudolph 7, 8. Now a new chord to the mix, and that is D minor 7th. Let me show you how to play it. So typically you've probably played a D minor before in various tunes. So you do a D minor and we're going to combine it with another chord. How do you do that? Well, basically my finger, my little pinky here, is doing nothing, so we may as well make use of it. So we're going to pop it on the 1st string 3rd fret. Yeah, and play a D minor at the same time. Okay, so a D minor and a C with my pinky added together has got the name D minor 7th, and that is the chord that we want. Okay, if you can't quite work it out and you can't quite see my fingers here, have a look on the screen and it should be nice and big on a graphic for you. So D minor 7th, but we're only there for 2 beats. Okay, so we're going there for 2 beats. Then we're going to go to G7 for 2 beats. And then typically we would go back to C here, but this time we're going to do C7 for 4. So those last 3 chords are basically D minor 7 for 2, G7 for 2, C7 for 4. Do you want to do just that line with me from the D minor 7th? 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do verse 2, starting from the C6. Remember, it's very similar to the first verse. And let's put in that extra last line with a D minor 7th, G7 and C7. Okay, going from all of the other reindeer. Ready? A 1, 2, 3, go. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Now, a seventh normally takes you somewhere, just as an augmented seventh does. In this case, it's going to take us to the bridge and the key of F. That's where the key it goes to. So our C7 is basically a link to take us to the key of F. I think what we should do, instead of battling on into the bridge at the minute, we should do the first two verses. Okay, should we do that? Are you up for it? Come on, we can do it. From the very beginning. 1, 2, 3, go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Only rotten not letting him play any reindeer games. I don't know. I tell you what though, he wins in the end, doesn't he? Before we get into the bridge though, I want you to practice those two verses, and when you're ready, come and join me in the next section. Take a break. There. So we're now into the bridge in the key of F, and for the next two lines we've played all these chords already, but let's have a look at them. It starts on F for 4, then 1 foggy, and then swap to C for Christmas Eve, then that D minor 7th again. Now notice Christmas Eve, I actually played that with my pinky, yeah, and there's a reason. The reason is because the next chord coming up is that D minor 7th again, where I need to have that there on the first string with my pinky. So I just pop the D minor on as well, and I've got my D minor 7th, okay? So that means Santa, then a G7, came to, now say is that C major 7th again. Okay, so let me run through that again. We got then 1 foggy, Christmas Eve with my pinky, Santa came to say. Do you want to do that with me? Okay, we'll stick the melody in as well. 2, 3, 4. Then 1 foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say. Should we do that again? Okay, 4 in from the F. 1, 2, 3, go. Then 1 foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say. Let's carry on. So now we're going to go to G for Rudolph with your, now then it says diminished 1. Remember in the first verse we did diminished 2, which was there. Remember that? All we're going to do is take that same shape, yeah, every single finger down 1 fret. So diminish 1 because my index finger is on the first fret. Okay, so that's diminished 1. Okay, so going from Rudolph with your nose so bright. Love that chord. That's great. Okay, now we're going to go to an A minor. Won't you? Then a D7, you can either do the Hawaiian one, as you've already got 1 finger on with the A minor, yeah. Guide my, and then 4 on G7. Sleigh tonight. Okay, so backtracking then. We've got then 1 foggy, Christmas Eve, Santa came to say. Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? So there are quite quick changes on the last 2 lines because we've got A minor only for 2 and then guide my is D7 for 2. Okay, I think we should do the middle together and try and sing along. Okay, 4 in. 1, 2, 3, go. Then 1 foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say. Rudolph with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? They're nice chords, aren't they? Just add a little bit of spice here and there. Right, I'm now going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to sing. I'm going to let you hear the chords, okay? So 4 in, play along, okay? Into then 1 foggy, starting with F. 1, 2, 3, go. You do it, okay? Prove to me you can do it. Let's do it together then, okay? From then 1 foggy, we're going to sing along as well. 1, 2, 3, go. Then 1 foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Fantastic. So I need you to practice that bridge, and also don't forget to do the first 2 verses as well. So verse 1, verse 2, the bridge. Once you're confident, join me again after the break into the next section. Take a break there. Right, are you ready for some good news? We need some good news this year, don't we? The last verse is more or less the same as the first verse. So if you've worked out those chords in the first verse, it's gonna be a doddle, this for you. Okay, so we're going to start with, the first line is, then all the reindeer loved him, and we're back on that C6, just like on verse 1. Okay, so we got, then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee. Okay, so remember, you got to do that diminished 2 just like we did on the first verse. It's exactly the same place, just different lyrics. That's all it is. Do you want to do it with me? The first 2 lines. 1, 2, 3, go. Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee. One more time, okay? Then all the reindeer loved him. 1, 2, 3, go. Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee. Let's carry on. So we got then G7, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now the D minor 7, remember the D minor and the C. Just for 2, you'll go down in G7, here stir, and then C for 4, re. Okay, so that's basically 2 on D minor 7th, you'll go down in here stir, re. And the last line is the same chords as what we've just done, and the lyrics are the same. However, we're going to spend double the time on each chord. So we're basically, instead of 2 on D minor 7th, if you have a look on the last line, it's 4 on the D minor 7th. You'll go down in, and the same with the G7, it's 4 instead of 2. Here's the, and then C, I've put 7 there. Re, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that is it. I think we should play the last verse together. Okay, are we ready? From the C6, then all the reindeer. 1, 2, 3, go. Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you'll go down in history. You'll go down in history. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So finish on 7, just like that. Okay, fantastic. So what I'm going to do is have ever such a short break there. Then I'm going to come back and we're going to play the whole piece with all the added embellishments, and hopefully you can join me with that. So take a short break there. Right, are we up for it then? So this is it. We're going to do the whole piece as it is on my bit of paper with all the little coloured embellishments on there. So let's do it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, You would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? And all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you'll go down in history. Last line. You'll go down in history. Hey, fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's a real great sort of tune for this time of year. One of my favourites. Now, if you've enjoyed this and managed to do these chord embellishments and that, I do something else, which is through something called Patreon. And Patreon allows me to do something called ukulele shortcuts, which is, again, tuition for the ukulele, but we go more into the melody side of things rather than just playing the chords. And believe it or not, it isn't that complicated. So if you want to have a look at what it's all about, in the description I've provided a link down below. Have a click on that, and I think there's a video there which you can watch, and it tells you more about ukulele shortcuts. Now, everything I'm doing on YouTube and Facebook is absolutely free, but it would help me on YouTube if you could press the like, press subscribe, and also there's a little bell there called a notification bell. If you can do the like, the subscribe, the notification bell, you'll be kept abreast of all my videos as they're released. So if you enjoyed this one, then there'll be more to come. Now, the thing is, the word subscribe, there's a lot of confusion with that word, because typically it suggests that you would actually pay for something, being a subscription. But no, it's absolutely free. There's no contracts and there's no time limits. So please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the new year. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you in 2021. Cheers!